Well, our partners at the Lens are losing one of their co-founders. Ariella Cohen will be leaving for the East Coast and continue writing, of course. She joins us now to talk about some of her big investigations and other work with the Lens. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Sad to see you go.
It is really sad. It's a bittersweet time for me. I'm returning to my family on the East Coast and old friends, but of course I'm really going to miss New Orleans and all that I've learned here.
Well, let's talk about, you've done some really great work. The Ninth Ward neighborhood built in an old waste dump that you brought attention to. What's the latest on that?
Well, it's interesting because that's a subject that I wrote about soon after coming here 4 years ago. And sadly, very little progress has been made. The lawsuit, residents living upon the Agriculture Street landfill sued Hano, the housing authority in the city, for situating them upon this landfill. The lawsuit remains in limbo, and 68% of the neighborhood remains gone. And so for those few thousand people that remain, they have very few public services. They're still trying to get the money that they need to move out. At the same time, many people have gotten road home money to rebuild actually inside areas that were contaminated and where Hano itself has disinvested. So it's this interesting moment where you see how a crisis in leadership and a lack of coordination between different government bodies really cheats taxpayers as well as the residents of that community that are living in really terrible conditions.
So that's something that we obviously need to keep watch of, and I'm sure the Lens will as well. What are some of the other major investigations that you've done while you're here that you think requires more eyes on it in the future?
Well, one thing that I'm continuing to work on and that I think will continue to be a story is the FEMA trailers. You might not have heard of these for a while, those toxic trailers that were given to people after Hurricane Katrina. Well, actually, FEMA sold those back into the open market, and they continue to be distributed, and people continue to live in them throughout the South and all over the country, really. And we continue to investigate the folks that are selling them, often taking off stickers that warn people against living in them because of their formaldehyde content, breaking the law, but there's been little enforcement of that.
The Lens is really, some people may say that it's the future of journalism, a lot of digging deep, I should say, but it's online.
Absolutely. It's 100% online, but we think it's a new model with how to engage with the community. We're online, but we're also very much out. I spend a lot of time at City Hall and at different public meetings trying to really keep track of what people in different communities are feeling and doing and experiencing.
And it's a good partnership when you've got television and you've got the online working together visually and to also bring it all together.
Absolutely.
So you are leaving. We are sad to see you go, but you're still going to be doing some more. Where can they keep up with your writings?
Well, I'm actually going to remain on the board of the Lens, and you should definitely check out thelensnola.org. We're growing. You can always become a member of the Lens, which of course it needs that support to keep going. And I'll be in Philadelphia working for an organization called Next American City, which is also an online news organization, and we'll be doing the kind of reporting that I do here on the Lens, or for the Lens, but on a national level. So looking at these policy and leadership issues from a national scope.
Yes, you're going to have a lot to be clamping down into, no doubt about it.
I think so.
Good luck.
Thank you.